Welcome to the Naughty Child podcast. With me, Richard.
And me, Polly.
I'm the dad.
And I'm the daughter.
And this is Today at the Cricket.
Home Commonwealth games in their home city at their home ground.
I'd still take a Commonwealth goal.
It's pushing me on a little bit further. It's just, I've kind of tasted what it's like, and I just want to keep it going now.
Our Māori culture is massive as part of our sports identity, and that's something with the New Zealand Commonwealth Games team that's really been brought in, and it's really different probably for the White Ferns girls.
The potential to play in a Commonwealth.
I think for us, we've sort of talked about as a team being part of a wider national team.
That would be one of the highlights of my career.
It's definitely something that we're all looking forward to. I know it's a different environment. It's not, the way we used to tours.
But we're going to Birmingham and we're part of the New Zealand team. We're not the White Ferns, we're the New Zealand T20 cricket team.
So, Polly, there were two more games on, what date was it? the 3rd of August. Yesterday's games. And that was Australia against Pakistan and India against Barbados.
Yeah, so Australia-Pakistan was the first game of the day. Went how kind of everyone expected. I think you said to me early into the game, Australia in trouble. And it's like, Australia are in trouble when they're 9 wickets down, not when they've lost 2 wickets, because they've got so much depth. And yeah, we saw that. So Healy and Lanning went very quickly, but Beth Mooney and Tali McGrath got 70 odd each, and they ended up on a total of 160.
I think what intrigued me about this game is how Australia paced the innings.
Yeah.
Because they didn't go out very fast at all.
No.
In fact, I think they only hit 58 from the first 10 overs and then hit 102 from the next 10 overs. So they took it really, really steady and then accelerated through. And then, Mooney and McGrath at the end, were hitting, 13, 14 and over off the last 5 overs. So, and that made it a very, very challenging total for Pakistan. But yeah, Tali McGrath, I think, just had an amazing game, didn't she?
Yeah.
What a player. You could argue she is the player of the tournament so far.
Yeah, definitely. She had a really good batting day the other day. I think the only thing that let her down was the bowling. That I think she went for 17 and over. But other than that, no, she's been remarkable and very, very key for Australia. She also picked up 3 wickets yesterday.
And a run out.
Including a maiden, which, very impressive. But yeah, Pakistan struggled again. I mean, I would say there are more positives than there were last time in terms of scores. So Bismillah Maroof got 23. Amima got 23 and Fatima got 35.
Yes, there are loads of positives, I think, for Pakistan to take from this tournament. I think there's been some excellent individual performances that they can really, really look at and be very, very proud of. I think, particularly Diana Baig, I've been really, really impressed with. So she bowled 4 overs, 0 for 16 against Australia.
Against Australia, that's very, very impressive.
And she gave them problems.
Yeah.
She gave them real problems. So I think Pakistan going forward they're in a stage of development where I think they can really, really go on and rise up the rankings. Yeah,
and I think this is also something people don't realise is that, especially because I've been reading a book about the last 25 years of Pakistan women's cricket, their position 25 years ago was extremely different to Australia or England or even India, and so of course it's going to take them time to develop and I suppose catch up in a way. But no, I think this tournament has actually been really positive for them, and despite not winning, I think the only time I think they could feel disappointed really is against Barbados.
Well, looking at Barbados' subsequent performances,
Yeah.
I just
don't
wonder
know
how on
how.
earth they managed to lose to them, particularly as they had Dar playing in that game,
Yeah.
who got 50 and looked absolutely brilliant, but then got concussion and missed the rest of the tournament.
Yeah. But no, I think Pakistan have played quite well. And then the evening game, India against Barbados.
Yeah, so India lost Sriti Mandana early on, LBW on review. So it was given not out, and then they reviewed it, and quite rightly given out. And then Shafali Verma and Jemima Rodriguez just sort of took over from that point, and piled on the runs. So Jemima Rodriguez 56 not out at the end of 46 balls, so not going absolutely crazy, but really solid performance from her. So great to see Jemmy get some runs. And then Sharma came in at the end to join her and quickly hit 34 as well, off 28 balls. So 162 for 4, very challenging total. It was always going to be for Barbados to reply to.
Yeah, I was going to say Shafali Verma particularly impressive with 43 from 26. Yeah, really good performance. So
she just has this attitude, doesn't she?
That's the thing. It's almost like she'll either she'll hit 4s and 6s. She just won't run between the wickets. So it's gonna go big or go home. But I mean, she got run out, so kind of says everything. But no, I thought she played really well. But then Barbados kind of struggling again. Kaishona Knight top scored with 16, but that was kind of it, and pretty much all of the strike rates were below 100.
Yeah, so I think it's disappointing. I mean, just to 62 for 8 off 20 overs, so 100 runs short. Essentially, their only strategy, I think, is for Dottin and Matthews to stay there and bat throughout.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a curious one, I think. And even though they won a game and Pakistan didn't win a game, I think Pakistan come out of the tournament with a lot more credibility than Barbados.
Yeah, definitely.
But looking at Indian bowling,
Thakur.
given this could be a team that England play in the semi-finals, and Thakur 4 overs 4 for 10.
Just avoid at all costs. She's so good. That's her second 4 of the tournament.
Yeah, she's looking excellent.
Yeah.
So caused all sorts of problems, and and thinking about semi-final lineups. Now we know that it's going to be India and Australia from one group, England and New Zealand from the other group. We don't know who's going to be playing whom until tonight. But if England do end up playing India, that is by no means a given for England at all. It's going to be a really tough game.
Yeah.
Australia, of course, will be a very tough game too. So there are, I think it's going to be really exciting going into the semi-finals. It could be really close, and we haven't really had any close games yet. But I think that's when it could get really exciting.
Yeah, that's something interesting actually about this tournament, is that there haven't really been close games at all, and I feel like there should have been already. I think Australia, India should have been closer. Potentially South Africa, New Zealand, but I mean, New Zealand look like they're miles ahead of South Africa in terms of quality at the moment.
England, New Zealand today could be.
I think that'll be a close game. No, I'm really excited. I think it'll be a good game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But yeah, 2 more games today. So obviously we've got England, New Zealand, and then we've also got Sri Lanka against South Africa.
Yes. Again, now that could be an interesting game too, couldn't it?
I was thinking about that because South Africa have definitely struggled against spin, and obviously Sri Lanka have a spin attack to definitely be feared. And so I actually think, despite Sri Lanka's kind of struggle with batting, I think it could be a very interesting performance. So that starts in 45 minutes or so.
Yes. I mean, I think as long as South Africa could, if they bat first, if they post anything over 120, I suggest
then it'll be too much.
But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
And if Atapati stays in, then anything can happen. And it would actually be nice to see her doing her thing, because I think we haven't seen very much of her during the tournament.
Having said that, I'd love South Africa just to win a game.
I think that would do a lot for their morale. No, I think it would be good for them to finish their kind of England tour on a high.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine if you are just losing, it must be really, really tough.
Yes. So apologies for the late publication of our podcast today. Polly went on a big night out last night to Six's cricket bar.
Can I just say, I need to put this out in the air because I'm so proud of myself. 100 format, so you do it in like 5 balls.
Mm-hmm.
I faced 15 balls. I got 49. I'm sorry, but Sophie Eccleston, I'm coming for your job because can I just say that was highly impressive.
That was a very, very good strike rate, Polly. And
England, call me up.
So if Six's bar cricket ever becomes a Commonwealth sport, I think you could be in line for selection.
Do you know, that would be incredible.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware. Caged cricket.
So we're off to Edgbaston this evening to see England, New Zealand, and we'll fill you in on the final group games in our podcast tomorrow.